that was their sign of a long and a happy marriage. If it went out before it hit the water, well, that was their sign of just a long marriage. Now, as we pass between these cliffs, this is the deepest section of the Wisconsin River. Right here, it is approximately 110 feet deep. Now, that is very deep for a river. The average depth is 35 to 40 feet. But right here, this is the deepest section. Now we are coming up to our first rock formation. It is ahead of the boat and off here to the right. You'll be seeing Chimney Rock coming up here to the right. It gets its name because, well, it does resemble the old stick and mortar chimneys of the early pioneer days. And Chimney Rock is an excellent example of the wind and the water erosion that takes place here on the Upper Dells. That's Chimney Rock right up to our right. Some say it looks more like a stack of pancakes, but no, that is Chimney Rock right to our right. Now our next rock formation, this one is going to require a little imagination, but I know you can do it. It's ahead of the boat and again off here to the right-hand side. If you look at the large flat slab of rock off to our right, take a good look at that. Do you see a profile of a nose? There's a slit above that for the eye, a crack below it for the mouth. The chin is right there at the waterline. And if we really use our imagination, even the trees on top can be a beautiful headdress for Black Hawk's profile. This is Black Hawk's profile off here to our right. It's named after the very famous warrior, Black Hawk, that lived here in the Wisconsin Dells area through most of the 1800s. Now, a frequently asked question that we get here on the Upper Dells is, why is the Wisconsin River this color? Is it pollution? Well, no. In fact, the Wisconsin River is one of the cleanest rivers in the United States. What you're seeing is tannic acid. As our river travels through our state, it goes through a series of tamarack swamps. And this tamarack tree secretes the tannins into the water, giving it this brownish color. Now, I can assure you that tannic acid is completely harmless. In fact, if you're like me, you probably had a little tannic acid for breakfast today, because tannic acid can be found in coffee, in tea, or in Coca-Colas. Or maybe you had a breakfast like our Captain Joe here, because tannic acid can also be found in Jack Daniels and red wine.
He's kidding, of course. Punk captains drink rum.
You're right. Now, if you look at the rock that we're seeing out here today, we're going to be seeing our entire trip. This is a very unique type of sandstone. It's called Cambrian sandstone, and scientists tell us it was formed over 300 million years ago, when this entire area was covered by the Cambrian Sea. Now, as that Cambrian Sea started to dissipate, the sand bottom started to harden into layers, forming the Cambrian sandstone. This is some of the oldest exposed bedrock in the world. And another thing that makes it very unique is it can be found in only 4 places in the world. It can be found in Zurich, Switzerland, in Potsdam, Germany. There is a small amount in upstate New York, but the largest deposit of Cambrian sandstone is right here in Wisconsin Dells. It is a very porous rock, and if you notice, you can see the trees, they can put their roots right into the sandstone, going 40 to 50 feet deep, getting all the water and the nutrients that they need to survive. Now, coming up here ahead of us and to the left, you're going to see the pathway to the old riverbed. We don't take that route because it's too shallow, but take a look at that last tall pine tree before the old riverbed. Go about 4 branches down on that bare branch. You see a bald eagle perched there for us. Right there on that bare branch on that tall pine tree. And he's going to give us a turn so everyone can take a good look at it. We see more and more bald eagles. I think like everybody, you know, every summer we're seeing more. We love to point them out when we see them. Now, a lot of people ask me, what does Wisconsin Dells mean? Well, Wisconsin comes from the Chippewa Indian word, Wisconsin, and that means dark rushing water. And Dells comes from the French word dal, meaning flat layered rock. So as you can see, we are very appropriately named, where the dark rushing water meets the flat layered rock. Now we are going to take the pathway coming up here to the right. And this was a pathway that was formed about 12,000 years ago when the glaciers came near this area. Now the glaciers did skip over the Dells area, but the rushing waters of those melting glaciers carved right through the Cambrian sandstone and formed the pathway to the Wisconsin River. Straight ahead of us here, this is the largest island on the Upper Dells. This is Black Fox Island. It is 200 acres, and it is home to Camp Upham Woods. And Camp Upham Woods hosts Boy Scout and Girl Scout groups, 4-H groups, a lot of nature and science study groups happen up here year-round on Black Fox Island. It's said that every species of tree that grows in Wisconsin is growing up there. That is nearly 110 species of trees. Now, straight ahead of us, to the left, you're going to see this large rock sticking out of Black Fox Island just ahead of us. Look about 40 yards ahead of that rock, and you'll see that same rock. The second one has the round white sign on it. These two rocks are what we call the twin sisters here on the Upper Dells. And, you know, we love to name our rocks here in the Dells. So, this first one, her name is Kate. And the second one, her name is Duplicate. It's harder to say that than to hear it, trust me. Now coming up here and to the right, you're going to see a beautiful little spot that we call Chapel Gorge by this white buoy. It gets its name because of this pulpit-shaped rock here at the entrance, and when the sun filters through, you'll see it does give it a beautiful cathedral-like effect in there. This is a very popular place for locals. They'll take their boats in there and have small wedding ceremonies in Chapel Gorge. I had a few relatives that have done that. Marriages never seem to do well. I think it's something about starting out on the rocks. This is not a good idea. Now, in the 1800s, the number one job of this river was to transport the number one product down to the markets of the South. And that product was wood. We have the lumberjacks up here chopping down the trees, especially the white pine was very popular, and putting it here in the river. Then it was the raftsmen's job to take all of that timber down sometimes as far as New Orleans to be sold. Now this was a very dangerous job back then. You have to remember it was before there were any dams on the Wisconsin River, and as I said, the current is very strong. So back then you could see white water rapids throughout. Now, especially in the area that we're in right now, the raftsmen named this area the Narrows, and in just a moment we're going to be making a sharp left-hand turn, and they call that the Devil's Elbow. Many raftsmen were injured and even lost their lives right here at the rocks of the Narrows and the Devil's Elbow. But there was one raftsman who became very famous at getting through this area successfully, and his name was Leroy Gates. He became so popular that they actually engraved his name into the rock those many, many years ago. And that's right up here to the left. Just as we finish this turn, under the pine boughs, straight ahead, about 10 feet above water level, you'll see a faint inscription. It's not easy to see, but it reads Leroy Gates, Dells and River Pilot, from 1849 to 58. It's a little easier when you see kind of one behind you, but you'll see it engraving